welcome to Through the Mist with me, your host Owen. This is a Void Investigate podcast where we look at the law and try to understand how it all works. In this episode, we'll be looking at May Castellan and the Oracle of Delphi. Hi, welcome back, people of the internet. Whoop, whoop, yeah. Go Mythbusters. Go team. Everyone put your hands in. And 1, on 3, Mythbusters. 1, 2, 3, Mythbusters. Hi, hello, welcome back. Let's just jump into it tonight. Why not? It's night time. Why not? Who cares? Let's just jump into it with the question from last time of, can Thalia be considered a dryad? And we have Darian response. Whoop, and it is. I'd never heard of this theory before. It's because we basically made it up, and I really liked it. But the lack of any sort of arboreal abilities has me saying not a dryad, and I think that is also where I sit with this. Is Thalia not a dryad? Not a dryad in the slightest. No. Whoa, that was a quick start, wasn't it? Whoop, whoop. Okay, so we are talking about May Castellan and the Oracle of Delphi. Why? Because I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to do a deep dive into their relationship and what happened there, basically. So that's what we're doing today. And we're gonna figure some things out along the way. So let's put some background on their relationship. And the background is Hades' curse on the unnamed World War II Oracle of Delphi. So yeah, the main reason for all the hassle that May goes through is because of Hades. And it's like, why nothing happens between World War II and Percy's 16th birthday? Like, all because of Hades. And what is this, I hear you say? What is this curse put on this poor unfortunate soul that had to that became the Oracle of Delphi before our dear Red? And well, it goes something a bit like this. I swear... No, that is a terrible Hades. I swear, as long as my children remain outcasts... What is he? What is that accent? Should we... Well, he's a farmer. He's a farmer. Something like that. I swear, as long as my children remain outcasts, as long as I labour under the curse of your great prophecy, the Oracle of Delphi will never have another mortal host. You will never... I can't do accents. I can't hold accents. What is happening? Okay. And composure. And go. I swear, as long as my children remain outcast, as long as I labour under the curse of your great prophecy, the Oracle of Delphi will never have another mortal host. You will never rest in peace. No other will take your place. Your body will wither and die, and still the Oracle's spirit will be locked inside you. You will speak your bitter prophecies until you crumble to nothing. The Oracle will die with you. Yeah, so that's the curse. And I wanted to look into what this curse meant for May, and why they thought the Oracle would move on to them. Like, why did May truly believe that they were destined to become the Oracle of Delphi? mate said, go. Go, mate. Go, minute. So, what do we know about the before times of May Castellan? And the before times of being the before the trial, before she tries to become the Oracle of Delphi. What do we know? Wow! We get this bit, we get some dialogue directly from May during Nico and Percy's visit to her all of this comes from The Last Olympian, so just, know that. We get some stuff, so we get this sort of conversation, which I've kind of cut up and, knitted together what is important. I'd always been special, able to see through the... whatever they call it? The mist? Yes, dear, and they offered me an important job. That's how special I was. Your father warned me not to try, but I had to, and now I still can't get the images out of my head. They make everything so fuzzy. Did you like my dual voices there? So, what we get from this kind of dialogue is that May was clear-sighted, which, yeah, good, tick, box, nice. And someone offered her the job of being the Oracle. And she saw things, and because the Oracle couldn't move on because of Hades' curse. But it gave her information. And we all know what that information was, but it kind of overwhelmed May's brain and just kind of became too much. What actually happens when she tried to become the Oracle? So we get that flashback in one of Percy's dream sequences, and we get these couple lines of dialogue from May and then Chiron. I know I can do it, Hermes. This is my chance to do something good. I've been given the gift of sight for a reason. And then a bit later on, we get this from Chiron. A woman who has already bore a child. As far as I know, this has never happened before. If the spirit does not take, it will. And that's me, cutting Chiron off and going, it will. I've got this. I believe in myself. Let's go. Hoorah! We all know what happens, and we all know why it happens now, because we have read the book. Do you know what was crazy? I kind of skim-read most of this book trying to find this stuff. I didn't realise, we learned both Thalia and Luke's last name in this book. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I remember Luke's last name being a thing, but I kind of blanked that this is where we learn Thalia Grace from. Crazy, isn't it? Cray. Absolutely cray. Well, then we all kind of know what happens is she sees the visions and Luke's role in the great prophecy and gets the glowing green eyes and the repeated visions. And I had this thought when I was writing these notes down that maybe, because there's always been this part of me that's weirded out that Hermes knows so much. And how does Hermes know so much? And, as I'm reading the flashback story, because gods know things, you get the whole Hera Juno thing, which is also weird to me. But the Hermes, I don't know, the Hermes one sits very weird to me. And I came up with this little fan theory that's going to kind of incorporate itself, and I'm going to believe to be true from this point on, that maybe the reason Hermes knows so much is because he rushes in to see May as the cold wind sweeps across the camp. She rushes into the great house to see May and rescue her and check on her, and then she starts to scream, and I think that's when she's getting the visions. And he rushes in there, and it happens. And I think when he rushes in, he sees what May sees. But unlike May, who is mortal, it doesn't overwhelm him. He can process it and he understands it very quickly, very clearly. May can't process what she's seeing, and it drives her a bit. It just drives. Yeah, I don't want to say it because, life. But what those bits of dialogue from before, It was like what I was trying to hope and trying to get out of reading through this book and trying to understand why May was doing it is what exactly May's credentials were that made people, Chiron, believe she could become the Oracle. Like, what was so special about May that made her get offered the job, that made Hermes tell her the story about the Oracle not moving on like it was supposed to, and that it shouldn't, and that it was extremely dangerous because they didn't know why the spirit hadn't moved on. Like, no one knows about Hades' curse. No one. Really, the first person to learn about it since it's happening is Nico, and Percy just sees it in a dream of Nico. Crazy times. So, like, these are things that I was trying to hope, but it doesn't seem to give us more. There's this innate feeling that May feels special, and that's not the first time we've had that when a god takes interest in someone and makes them feel special. Not the first time that's happened. It's happening quite similar on the other side of the country with Thalia. But May also seems to have an understanding that Hermes is going to move on soon. Like, it's not going to be a forever thing. And is this the first? And it also seems like the first time they're trying this in a good few years at very least. Like, what happened with the previous Oracle? Like, surely she told them, like, I'm not going to move on. And I was like, thinking about this, and, like, she didn't tell them exactly what happened. Clearly didn't tell them about Hades' curse. Because otherwise they wouldn't have tried it. I believe Chiron would not have tried it if he knew about Hades' curse. I fully believe that. But he didn't. No one really knew about it. And the Oracle clearly didn't tell anyone. Maybe the Oracle hinted at what its connection was, and maybe the Oracle, and she knew somewhere in the back of her mind that her being set free was linked with the Great Prophecy, and maybe they knew about Thalia being born, and that the Great Prophecy suddenly had a child of the eldest gods to be linked to. Like, up until this point, they had all died out or reached in 16, nothing happened. This was the first. Thalia was the first new kid since the Pact of the Big Three. So maybe they thought maybe because that happened, and I don't know. But what it doesn't really give us is why she believed she could do it, apart from the fact that she could see through the mist. Like, there's nothing else given, and it's all this. It's this ambiguity of the line. I've been given the gift of sight for a reason. It doesn't. It implies that she's clear-sighted. Like, that's a clear implication. But does it apply deeper visions and other things? I'm not quite sure. I don't know. It's really hard for me to understand why she was offered the job. Was it a passing remark? Was it she was the most clear-sighted mortal they've seen in years? It's really not quite clear at all. So, what if we compare her to Red? Because Rachel is the Oracle now, so there was a clear doot that happened there. And yes, Rachel was clear-sighted. But it also kind of reinforces what we know about Rachel, also kind of reinforces about why May shouldn't have done the job in the first place. Why she shouldn't have attempted the job in the first place is because I feel like, and I don't think it's implied enough, that she wasn't having visions like Rachel was. Rachel was seeing the Great Prophecy take place. She was seeing all the puzzle pieces being given to her. She was told the eldest god is Percy. She painted Luke because he's the person to die. He's the one that gets their soul reaped. He's the hero of the prophecy. Percy's just the catalyst. And she's been given all this information. She sees it. She sees them surrounded at the bottom of the Empire State Building. It's all there. It's all given out to her. And I don't think the texts give us any proof that May was seeing these sort of visions. I think it was almost a kind of a fluke that she was given the job. And there was more unknowns with her in the first place, because it's implied by Chiron that she is the first to have had a child before taking on the prophecy oracle, the spirit of the oracle. And that in itself is an unknown. And when you're doing these sort of things, why would you add more unknowns, you know? I think May being offered the job was a terrible idea. And then I think May thought she would be special and maybe could stay in Luke's life longer or something like that, and it just all backfired. It was all terrible and just kind of wrong. But, you know, it was the early 90s. It was the early 90s, late 80s. Health and safety wasn't a thing. The HSE did not exist. So, hang on, when is that? Hang on. I should know when this work act. Oh, I mean, okay, so the Health and Safety at Work Act existed. But, like, other things didn't. But it was relatively new. Health and Safety at Work Act 1974. That's when it became in place. So, you know, maybe it wasn't across the pond yet. Who knows? But, what is CDM 2013? I've got to check now. CDM 2013? 2015! I should know these things. Anyway, back to the episode and what we were talking about. So, that's what we go for. And what I think the takeaway... I mean, the takeaway is this is just, it was bad, it was terrible, it was boring. Boring? Not so much. It was bad, it was terrible. I think the main takeaway really is that May shouldn't have gone for the job because she didn't have the requirements to become the Oracle of Delphi. Which I believe, thanks to Rachel, are 1, you are mortal, 2, you have clear sight, and 3, you get visions of the future or the past. You get visions, though. And, like, these visions are almost the Oracle, because the Oracle knows it's going to move. It's the Oracle. It can see these things. It's basically prepping the next person to become the Oracle. It's testing them. And I don't think May got these tests. I think May just went, if I do this, I might be with my kid for longer. I might be able to save my kid. In the end, it almost does the opposite, which is really sad to think about. Thank you for indulging this theory. If you have any comments on this theory or theories you only want me to discuss, you can email them through to through.t.mist@gmail.com, or you can follow the Instagrams @through_mist. Make sure to like the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, whatever you have to do to help get the podcast out there. I've been Owen, and come back next time as we try to see through the mist. I forgot to do the outro track. This is it. Whoop, 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 yeah!